Welcome into NBA Now. I am Harrison Graham, back with the latest NBA news and rumors. Lots to get into as far as the NBA restart is concerned, so let's jump on in. The free agency transaction window is officially opened at noon Eastern today, so now teams can sign players until June 30th. Got about a week here to work out and round out their rosters. The rosters are expanded to 17 players for the restart in Orlando. That'll be 15 standard contracts plus two-way contracts. Those are, generally G League type of players. A couple of signings so far, at least verbal signings. Joakim Noah is heading to the Clippers. Corey Brewer is heading to the Kings. We knew both of those for today. Anthony Tolliver to the Grizzlies as well. Those can become official now that this transaction window has opened, and there are other players that are eligible to sign as well. Who do you want your favorite team to sign in free agency? And to be clear, this isn't the big offseason free agency for maybe not you huge NBA fans. We'll cover that in the offseason, trust me on that. But if you don't know some of the players that are able to sign, my guy Tom Downey, he just did a top 10 list of players eligible to sign for the restart. Go check that video out here on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that and check out this video, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Our NBA coverage is ramping back up because the season is ramping back up. Just over a month from now, play is expected to resume. You don't want to miss any of our coverage, so go ahead and subscribe by hitting that big red button and turn on notifications so you never ever miss one of our NBA videos. Now, DeMarcus Cousins is one of the players that teams can sign, and there's conflicting reports on whether or not he will return and play this season. Charania of The Athletic says he won't, say that he will focus on rehab and gear up for the 2020-2021 season. However, the LA Times has written a story and spoken to his agent, and in that article, here's a segment of it saying he has not ruled out signing with a team to finish out the season in the NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida, according to his agent, Jeff Schwartz. But it would have to be a situation in which he feels comfortable to play rather than continue his rehab. And this is, of course, because he had ACL surgery last August and has had a slew of injuries over the past couple of years. So there is some risk involved if he does choose to return to play. However, I'll say this. If he returns and plays at a high level and contributes to someone having a deep playoff run, he might be able to get a big contract this offseason, whereas if he just rehabs and doesn't return, he's probably going to sign for like a minimum deal with the team next year. So it could be worth it if he finds the right situation. With all that being said, should DeMarcus Cousins return this season? I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. If you think the answer is yes, type Y. If you think it's no, type N. If you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and scroll on down and answer this question. And I mentioned the slew of injuries when it comes to DeMarcus Cousins over the past couple of years. He's always been a guy who's missed some games, being banged up here and there. But the last, 48 months has been rough. Tore the Achilles back in January of 2018, which ended his time in New Orleans. Tore the quads as he, tried to rush back from the Achilles injury in the playoffs for Golden State this past year. Tore his ACL this offseason when he was training, for a new season just after signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. He has had a rough go of it over the past 36 to 48 months. And, this is the last time we saw him in limited action with Golden State a couple of years ago. Still effective, still certainly a quality player. But is he a superstar at this point? That's what we all want to know. But look, if he wants a chance to sign a significantly sized contract this offseason, returning to play and playing at a high level might be his best chance. The risk is, of course, further injury. So we'll see what DeMarcus Cousins ends up doing. This is certainly something to monitor over the next couple of days. We hope you guys have been staying safe and continue to do so. And if you need a mask or just want to upgrade your mask, we've got you guys covered at chatsports.com/NBA mask. Those single face coverings will ship within 2 business days. But if you want the better bang for your buck, you can get these 4 packs for $29.99. Lots of cool different styles for all 30 NBA teams. The 3 packs are still available as well. Those are $24.99. So lots of different packages here with our partner Fanatics. Again, the single ones will ship within 2 business days. You may have to wait a little bit longer for these other ones, but you will get better bang for your buck. That link will be in the comments and in the description. It's chatsports.com/NBA mask. Trevor Ariza will not be joining the Portland Trail Blazers in Orlando, not because he doesn't want to play. We'll get to a player who doesn't want to play in just a second, but because he is stuck in a custody battle over his 12-year-old son with his son's mother. She granted a 1-month visitation that falls during the NBA restart, and basically he's saying, look, I want to keep custody of my son, so I'm not going to risk it by skipping visitation. So he's not going to play, and that's a bit of a blow to the Blazers' chances of trying to sneak up and grab that 8 seed as they are 3.5 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies, because after acquiring him from Sacramento, he was playing pretty well. 11 points, shooting 40% from 3. He's always been a good defender, so this does not help their cause whatsoever as they try to catch up to the Memphis Grizzlies, or at least be within 4 games of Memphis and, get that play-in tournament opportunity where they would have to beat Memphis twice to be the 8 seed in the West. So no Ariza for Portland. Lots of teams jammed together between 8 and 13 in the Western Conference. You got Sacramento, the Spurs, and the Suns as well. Portland's chances certainly just took a hit by Trevor Ariza deciding that he will not play. Who will be the 8th seed in the Western Conference? Memphis, 3.5 games up. Portland, a couple of other teams. Type G for Grizzlies, type O for other, and if you want to be specific, let me know who that other team will be to get the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. Now, Davis Bertans is also skipping, but not because he's injured, not because he's dealing with a legal issue, because the Wizards suck and he's set to enter free agency and doesn't want to risk it. And quite frankly, to the players who are ripping him for this and not joining him down there, I say this. Davis Bertans has not made hardly any money in the NBA so far in his career, and he is poised to sign a major contract this offseason. It's not a loaded free agency class. He's having a breakout year. The Wizards are 5.5 games back of the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, really have no business being down there anyways as they're 16 games below 500. I don't blame Bertans for doing this at all because their chances of making the playoffs are extraordinarily slim, and even if they do, they are going to get waxed by Milwaukee in the first round. I don't blame him. It's a smart financial decision. And quite frankly, when you add this into it as well, Adrian Wojnarowski reporting this, check this out. Even among the 6 teams trying to reach the playoffs, the teams that are, on the outside looking in via play-in, none believe this restart is worth risking injuries on players that could carry into next season. For some, Orlando will be an extended summer league to try to develop young players and protect veterans. So Washington certainly falls into that grouping of, hey, even if we rally and make the playoffs, we're not doing anything. We may not play our vets that much. Bradley Beal may not play that much for the Wizards. So go ahead and cool it. Say what you want about Bertans skipping, but look, if 60, 70, 80 million is on the line, and if he gets hurt, that goes away when you're 16 games under 500, I would probably do the same thing. So that is my take on that. Obviously, the NBA is set to restart, but the offseason will ramp up in October. Which do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the NBA draft? If so, type D. If you enjoy NBA free agency more, type F. Guess what? I encourage you to subscribe because we're going to cover both here on Chat Sports. So remember, hit that big red button. We will be live a lot during the NBA offseason. Now, some more news for the restart is that coronavirus testing has begun for NBA teams for their players. Adrian Wojnarowski reports that teams are bracing for positive tests. They're starting to test players. Nikola Jokic has tested positive over in Serbia, so he has actually not returned to the United States and to the Denver Nuggets. Luckily, Woj reports that he is expected to be able to travel within a week or so, but expect to read a lot of scenarios where players and notable players test positive for the coronavirus. Like, this is just how it's going to go. That's why they're testing now, saying, okay, which players have it, gives them plenty of time to self-quarantine and gear up for the restart, which will officially get going in late July. So more and more names will continue to come out. I know some anonymous players have tested positive as well. Training camps get going in Orlando July 11th. A further timeline looks like this. Testing began today. June 30th started training camps locally, at team facilities. So not a full training camp, but, kind of an early portion. Get the teams back together, start to get back into shape, those sort of things. A week later, travel to Orlando. And then, the training camps really ramp up down in Orlando, down in the bubble to get, the comfortable environment underway. few weeks later, the seeding games begin. Remember, every team plays 8 regular season games to determine the seeding. And then the play-in tournaments, if needed, August 15th and 16th. And then the playoffs look like this. August 17th it starts. Conference finals mid to late September. And then the NBA finals will start on September 30th with a possible Game 7 on October 13th. So that's the next few months of what the NBA looks like. It starts with players getting back and, getting tested for the coronavirus. Nikola Jokic is tested positive. Others will as well. And guys will in Orlando. It'll be up to the NBA to determine what the process is on, what happens once these guys do test positive. Last item here, the Knicks coaching search seems like it's been going on forever, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. They continue to be interested in several candidates. Now, the reports within NBA circles continue to be that Tom Thibodeau is the favorite to land the Knicks coaching job, but New York has requested interviews with Jason Kidd, who's a Lakers assistant, Mike Brown, who's the associate head coach for the Golden State Warriors, so there are candidates continuing to emerge. Who do you guys think, and especially you Knicks fans, that New York should hire as their next head coach? Who should be the head man for the Knicks next season? Look, if I'm a candidate, no thanks. I'll wait for another opportunity because it has been a tough go for the New York Knicks in recent years. Like I said, a lot of candidates have emerged. Tom Thibodeau, who's been a head coach for Chicago and Minnesota, he's considered the favorite. Kenny Atkinson, who coached with Brooklyn the past few years, got fired this season. He's in the mix. Jason Kidd, Lakers assistant. Mike Brown is in the mix as well, Golden State assistant. Mike Woodson, who actually ironically used to coach the Knicks, is someone they're considering. And then a lot of current assistant coaches. Pat Delaney, who's with the Orlando Magic. Chris Fleming, who's with the Chicago Bulls. Will Hardy with the Spurs. Jamal Mosley, Mavericks assistant, interviewed with the Knicks. And Ime Udoka is also a candidate that the Knicks are considering as well. And then interim Mike Miller is under consideration because, look, say what you want about the Knicks. He took over a 4-18 team, and they played decent basketball after that for the rest of the season. They have said he will remain in the organization no matter what if he wants to. Maybe not as the head coach, but he will be part of the Knicks organization moving forward. Keep an eye on this over the next few weeks and maybe even a month or two. They're going to take their time. We'll have you guys covered as soon as the Knicks hire their next head coach.